A Woman's Life is a program that brings together two very beautiful musical portraits of women. The first one is by Robert Schumann, and it's called Frauenleben Leben, A Woman's Love and Life. And it's written actually in the year that Robert Schumann had just gotten married to Clara Schumann. Now, Clara Schumann was a remarkable woman. She was, as Clara Wieck, her unmarried name, a world-famous concert pianist and also a composer. And it was actually through her performances that Robert Schumann's music was first heard and got to be known. And they had an incredibly romantic relationship. They met when Clara was very young. She was about 15 or 16 when they fell in love, and her father absolutely forbade their marriage. There was a period of 1.5 years where they couldn't even see each other. And it took years before they finally got married. And Robert Schumann writes this song cycle, and the words of the song cycle portray very romantically a woman whose entire life is defined by her love for her husband and her love for her children. And Clara Schumann actually gave birth to 7 children. But besides being a wife, she was an incredibly modern woman who concertized across Europe and at many points in the family's life was responsible financially for supporting the family. The second half of the program turns to a 20th century woman and artist also, Virginia Woolf, the great British writer who's known for her association with the Bloomsbury Group, a very progressive group of intellectuals and artists in London in the first part of the 20th century. And Virginia Woolf kept a diary, and the composer Dominick Argento sets pieces of her diary starting from the very first entry in 1919, when she's just thinking about what can a diary be and how does she become a writer and what does it mean to be a woman writer and a woman artist. Through the course of her career, where you can hear from what she's writing that she's become an established and successful artist, and then towards the late years of her life, when during World War II, like many people in England, felt that there was a great chance that the Germans would win the war. She was extremely worried and depressed about this. Towards the very last entry in her diary in 1941. It's a very moving cycle. And having these two different versions of women's lives from two different times in history also gives us a lot to think about in terms of not just the way we live our lives, but the way we talk about them and the words we use to express ourselves.